let's continue talking about adding and subtracting with rational numbers, and this time we're going to use mixed numbers. Let's just get jumping right in. Here's the standard itself. You've seen it many times. Okay, let's convert a mixed number into an improper fraction. All right, what does this look like? So I've got 2 3/4, okay, and that's what this picture is showing you, right? 1 whole, 2 whole, and then I have another whole, not quite a whole one, but it's cut into 4 pieces, and I get 3 of them. Okay, so what does an improper fraction tell us? An improper fraction allows us to describe this whole thing using one unit, okay, or one size. And basically what I'm looking at is if this thing is in fourths, then I want everything to be in fourths, okay? So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut these into fourths. So let's go ahead and do that. So, oops, hold on a second. Wait, it's supposed to be working. I don't know why it's not. Anyway, so fourths. Okay, pretty close. Oops. Fourths. Okay, pretty close there. And when I look at this, and if I look and count through them, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I will have 11 fourths. Okay, and that's what I get there. I get 11 fourths. Okay, that's what the size piece are. They're fourths. And how many of them do I have? I have 11 of them, and now it's not in a mixed number anymore. Okay, and I can use this when I'm adding and subtracting much easier. Let's take a look at another one. Okay, here's 3 4/5. All right, so 1, 2, 3, and then another whole cut into 5 pieces here, and so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of them, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. And what I want to do here is I want to convert all of these into the same size. So I want to cut all of these into fifths. So let's go ahead and divide these up all into fifths here. Okay, and now I've cut them all into fifths, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go through and I'm going to count them all, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So I have 19, and I have 19 fifths. Whoa, what's going on here? There we go. I've got 19 fifths. Okay. Now, there's another way we can do this a little bit quicker, right? If I know that I'm cutting these like these, I'm cutting them into 4 pieces. I'm cutting this one into 4 pieces. Well, 2 of these holes, right, cut into 4 pieces each will make 8 pieces, right? 2 cut into 4 pieces, each of them will make 8 pieces, plus I get the extra 3, which makes 11. You've probably seen that, you know, that rule before where you take the whole number and you multiply by the denominator and then you add the numerator. Well, this is what's really happening, okay? You're taking these things and you're cutting each of them into 5 pieces, right? And from there, that means you get 15 pieces. Then you have an extra 4 from this last one, right? Which isn't quite a whole. So that gives you a total of 19 pieces, and each of these pieces are fifths, okay? So again, the denominator is telling us the size of the piece. And if you think about it, remember, this is why I keep telling you this is the number of pieces you cut it into. So if I have 3 holes and I cut each of them into 5 pieces, I'm going to have 15 of them plus the extra 4. All right, so moving on, this is here I have 19 fifths, and so what I want to do is I want to basically reverse this, right? Okay, 19 fifths. So what do I have? I'm going to count up how many holes this makes up altogether. Well, fifths, okay, right? If they're cut into fifths and I get 5 of them, that means I'm going to have a hole. So here's 1 hole, 2 hole, 3 holes, 3 and 4 fifths. Okay. Well, sometimes when you see these, it's not going to be so nice and neat right here, right? Okay, so this now I have 8 thirds. Well, I have, you know, 8 thirds here. 1, 2, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So what I'm going to try to do here is I'm going to say, all right, well, let's put them together and see if I have 8 of these things. Let's put them together to see how many holes I can make and then what's left over. Okay, so I'm going to grab these pieces. Oops, that's not what I want to do. Okay, let's try this. Okay, technical difficulty solved. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some of these, okay, and I'm going to drag them over in here and see how many holes I can make, right? So I borrow 2 from there, and I create holes here and here, right? So these 3 make 1 hole, 2 hole, and 2/3. So I'm left with 2 and 2/3. Okay? All right. Let's move on. Let's actually try doing this. Okay, so the reason why I want to do this is, especially with mixed numbers, is sometimes it makes it easier for me to add the pieces together, okay? So I'm looking here and I'm going to say, okay, do I have pieces that are the same size? Okay, so this is 1 whole and 3/5, and I have 2 whole and 1/5. Okay, so two different ways to do it, and I would encourage most of you to just start off by doing one method, right? Actually, I would say let's convert all of them into improper fractions. Just make them all the same pieces, all the same size, and we'll go from there. Okay, so I have 1 3/5. 1 3/5 is the same as, okay, if I take this whole and cut it into 5 pieces, I have 5 plus the extra 3. I have 8, and those are fifths. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to take this 2 whole, cut it into fifths. That's 10, add 1, I get 11 fifths. Okay, and then together 8 and 11 make 19, so I end up with 19 fifths. And at this point, I'm okay with this idea. I think to get to the next level, maybe to get a 4, I'm going to convert it back into a mixed number. Since I started with mixed numbers, and so if I have 19 fifths, okay, and I'm going to put them together, I'm going to end up with 3 and 4 fifths, right? So 19 of them. If I take 15 of them and put them into groups of 5, I'm going to get 3 whole, and I'm left with 4 extra, okay? If you can get here, okay, that's what I want to do. If you're struggling to get to this part, right, the mixed number, don't worry about it, okay? Just leave it with the mixed number. I'd rather you do it. Just leave it with the improper fraction. Okay, well, let's do the same thing when we subtract them, right? And if you'll notice, we have 1 3/5 minus 2 and 1/5. Well, this is going to be the same idea, 8 fifths, okay? Subtracting 2 and 1/5, so subtracting 11 fifths. Well, now if you notice, I'm subtracting a larger number, right? This would be the same as adding a negative 11, right? I'm taking more away than what I had. So let's do up 8, down 11. And when I do this, I'm going to still end up with fifths and an 8, negative 11, right? So a couple different ways. Go up 8, down 11. I'll be 3 below where I started. Maybe there's a giant pile of these things. I add 8 and then I take 11 away. I have 3 less than what I started with. One last way of doing it is, let's say you're playing a game, you score 8, the other team scores 11, you're going to be down 3 points, okay? So your answer here, 3 fifths. All right, let's take a look at another one. Now this one is a little more difficult because the pieces aren't the same size, right? I have fourths and I have thirds. Again, I'm going to change it into an improper fraction. So I'm going to take the 2 whole, I'm going to cut them into 4 pieces. That's 8. Add the 3, I get 11. So I'm going to get 11 fourths, okay? And I'm going to add 1, cut into 3 pieces is 3, plus the extra 1 is 4, so 4 thirds, okay? These pieces are not the same size, so I must change them into the same size. Well, what can I change? Fourths and thirds, I can change both of them into twelfths, so my pieces will be the same size. Okay, if I have fourths to get to twelfths, I need to do multiply by 3. So I'm going to take the top and multiply by 3, right? What I'm doing is taking each piece and cutting it into 3 smaller pieces, okay? So this makes 12 pieces here. The 11 pieces then become 33 pieces. And I'm going to go ahead and add that with, okay, I have 3 pieces. I need to turn it into 12, so I'm going to cut those into 4, cut these into 4, so I'm going to end up with 16 twelfths. Okay, and when I add 33 and 16 together, I'm going to end up with 49 twelfths, okay? And if you wanted to try to change this into a mixed number, okay, you could go ahead and change it. 12 goes into 49 4 times with 1/12 left over. Okay, all right, let's move on. 3 2/3 minus 5 1/2. All right, so 3 cut into 3 pieces will be 9. 9 plus 2 is 11, so I'm going to end up with 11 thirds. And I'm removing or subtracting 5 1/2. 5 cut into halves is 10, plus 1 is 11 halves, okay? Now, I have the same number of pieces here, right? I have 11 pieces here, I have 11 pieces here, but these pieces are different sizes, okay? So I need to change them into the same size piece. Well, thirds and halves can both become sixths. So I'm going to do sixths. Okay, so how do I go from thirds to sixths? I'm going to cut each of those pieces in half and into two pieces, which is why I multiply both of them by 2. Take these 11 pieces and cut them into two pieces. So I'm end up with 22 sixths. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take away from halves to sixths. I'm going to cut this into 3 pieces each, right? From 2 pieces to 6 pieces, I need to cut 3 more each. So I got this one, and I get 33. Okay, so I have 22 sixths minus 33 sixths. Okay, and I'm going to take this and I'm going to say, okay, this is going up, this is going down, so negative 33. And if I have positive 22 and a negative 33, I'm ending up with negative 11 sixths. Okay, which would be a simplified answer there. And if I really wanted to, I'm going to change it into a mixed number. So I'm going to take the 11, right, and see how many holes could I make if each of them, if they're cut into sixths. Well, that's going to be 1, 5 left over. And what are those? Those are sixths, and this whole thing is going down. Okay, so got some practice there. You got a couple of processes to go through there. Take these steps. You should be good to go as long as you wrote these down and you can kind of follow along and do it on your own. Then you'll be good to go next couple days. All right.